Hello everyone, welcome to How to Tutors, and today we'll be doing a poetry analysis of the Shipwreck by Emily Dickenson. Stay tuned for more. About the poet, Emily Dickenson was born in the United States of America in 1830. She died in 1886. She wrote close to 2,000 poems, but only 10 were published in her lifetime. She is deemed to be one of America's most important and influential poets. References to storms and shipwrecks appear in quite a few of Emily Dickinson's poems, as ships were not as sturdy as they are today, and stop warning equipment did not exist. This is not surprising, as news of shipwrecks, a common occurrence in those days, would have reached even those living far from the ocean. Also, classical poetry and literature is steeped in stories of shipwrecks, some which Dickinson herself would have read or heard as a child. Used in the poem. Glee means delight, happiness, scant, limited, barely sufficient, salvation, saving or protecting from harm, tall, slow ring of the bell, bonny, good, beautiful, shoals, places where the water is, shallow, suffuses, gradually spread through or over. Summary of the poem. This poem is about an actual shipwreck in which 40 people lost their lives. The poem contrasts the joy at the survival of poor people and the sorrow that 40 people died. It is this sorrow or loss that we focus on in stanzas 3 and 4. The tale is told to children on a cold winter night. The speaker's sorrow is clear, and there is no empty cliché offered as only the waves reply. The form or structure of the poem. This poem has 4 stanzas of 4 lines each. It follows a strict rhyme pattern: A, B, C, B, D, E, F, E, G, H, I, H, J, K, L, K. It is close in form to a ballad, but does not have the prerequisite refrain characteristic of this form. The first 2 stanzas focus on the positive news of the survival of 4 people. The last 2 stanzas focus on the grief of the loss of 40 lives. Let's have a look at the analysis. The title, "The," tells the reader that this poem is about a specific shipwreck. Shipwreck implies a tragedy, usually involving the loss of lives, grief, and mourning. This sets the tone for the poem. Stanza 1, line 1. Glee, the storm is over. Glee, this indicates a joyous mood. There is reason to be very happy. This is emphasized by the exclamation mark. Great alludes to a terrible storm. The great storm is over. This conveys a sense of relief. The exclamation mark emphasizes that people have something to celebrate. The first line is ironic, though. While the people are relieved that the storm is over, 40 people died as a result of the storm. Line 2. 4 have recovered the land. Recovered means survived. There were 4 survivors. The small number of survivors implies that there were others who did not survive. Recovered the land, they made it back to land or shore. They survived the shipwreck. 3. 40 gone down together. Gone down is euphemism, for they died together. All of them drowned. So the poet tried to mellow it down by using the word gone down together instead of saying died. Line 4, into the boiling sand. The boiling sand implies a very rough sea with huge waves that it seems to churn up the sand at the bottom of the sea. This emphasizes the violent nature of the storm and shocks the reader. There is a complete change in the tone to that in line 1. Celebration turns to grief and mourning. Stanza 2, line 5. Ring for the scant salvation. Ring, they ring the town bell to draw the attention of the people, so they're calling the people together to make an announcement. Scant, very few salvation. They are thankful that there were 4 survivors. The exclamation emphasizes that very few survived. It also implies that they cannot really celebrate those who survived because it will be tainted by the loss of so many others. Line 6. Toll for the bonny souls. Toll refers to the ringing of the church bell. This is a funeral bell for the 40 who drowned. This evokes the sound of a bell ringing slowly and repetitively, usually a sign that someone has died. This contrasts with line 5, ring, which evokes the sound of bells ringing in celebration. Bonny, beloved souls, emphasizes their death. The dash after the souls provides a description of who died. Line 7. Neighbor and friend and bridegroom. This makes it personal. The deceased were members of the community who were known to all. The bridegroom increases the shock of their death. He had just started a new life. It also implies that his wife was one of the survivors. We cannot imagine her grief at 8. Spinning upon the shoals. Shoals refers to a place where the sea is shallow. Spinning, the people are being tossed around helplessly in the shallow waters. The irony is that they did not die in the middle of the ocean. They were close to shore. However, the people had no control over their movement because of the extremely violent storm and the mountainous waves that sent them spinning. This emphasizes the fate of those who drowned and leaves one feeling shocked at the events. 9. How will they tell the shipwreck? What explanation will they give? And 10. When winter shakes the door. Winter is associated with death. Literally, the personification refers the door shaking because of the cold and windy conditions. Figuratively, however, the personification refers to the death of the 40 people. The door is symbolic of their life. Will the children ask? But the 40, the initial celebration to offer thanks for the survival of the 4 will stop when children start asking questions. The 3, line 12, did they come back no more, emphasizes that they could not give the children a suitable explanation. The disbelief of the children is evident in this question. Are you sure they will not return? Stanza 4, line 13. Then a silence suffuses the story. When the children questioned what had happened, silence gradually spread throughout among the adults, as they could not offer any explanation that would help the children come to terms with their loss. There is a mournful tone at the loss of so many innocent people. Stanza 4, line 14. And a softness the teller's eyes. This creates a somber mood as the storyteller is reminded of the deaths and how they have all lost a loved one. Line 15. And the children no further question. Children sense the difficulty of the adults. No further question implies that the children have understood that the 40 have died. Their sorrow and grief cause them to stop asking questions. This emphasizes the pathos or the sense of pity. The waves reply. This emphasizes the silence of the adults and the children. There is no empty platitude or cliché saying that will offer comfort. Contrasts are evident throughout. Joy versus grief. Celebration versus mourning. Saved versus lost, and living versus death. Inasmuch as we celebrate the good, we can't help but be reminded of the bad that has happened. The tone, grief, mourning, death, stanza 3 and 4 are somber as they focus on the loss. Guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.